Hello, everyone, and good afternoon. Welcome to another edition of Channels Beams Google Plus Hangout. Today, we're looking at the chaos that erupted in the National Assembly in the past week. So much was said. The police have reacted. The Senate President shut down the National Assembly, that's both chambers, the Senate and the House of Assembly. But the police are saying that why they invaded the place was because they had an intel that thugs were going to be there at the National Assembly to disrupt the sittings. But that's what they said. But of course, everyone has his opinion, and that's why we're here. That's why we're here to get your own opinions. Um, Additionally, you are in Kiev in the Ukraine. Good
Yes,
afternoon, and thank you
yes,
for coming on the program this afternoon.
thank you.
So, what do you make of that whole incident? I'm sure you've seen all that on our YouTube channel. We shared the video. It was there. It was on our live on our flagship news at 10. It was on our flagship Sunrise Daily. What do you make of the situation that went on at the National Assembly last week?
Oh, thank you very much. Well, I think for me, it's actually like a disgrace for us as a nation that something like that can happen in our National Assembly. Now, the police can come up with some junk statements, whatever, about intel, about stocks and stuff. But the fact is, we all know who pays them to do that. We all know who gave the orders for them to do that. From the videos we've seen, there were no talks anywhere. Everybody in that place was members of the National Assembly of the House of Representatives. There were no talks. I saw the videos of as the speaker, after he had even made his way into the complex and tear gas was being fired at him. Where were the talks around him? But this is a matter of the president trying to achieve by force what he knows they cannot achieve on the floor of the assembly, which is actually impeaching the speaker. Find all our politicians, they all have issues. Like in normal crimes, where if the speaker, as he did, defected, on a normal day, you would expect him to honorably resign. That is what people of honor do. But then, if the man is not resigning, there is no reason for the president to now set out our security agencies against him. I mean, we have reports of almost as much as 1,000 security operatives operating in the National Assembly on that day, and we have over 200 kids still missing, and we are not setting thousands of troops out against them. I mean, it doesn't just make sense in any way. The president should leave the National Assembly to do their job. There is no reason why they should be hounding down the man. If they feel he has done something wrong, already the matter is in court. This is even a case of the police actually disregarding the lawful court order. There is already a restraining order from a court of competent jurisdiction. This is the police IG. Actually, the man is actually not even a full IG yet. He's still acting, actually disregarding the law he's meant to obey. So it's really a disgrace for us as a nation, seeing our National Assembly members scaling the fence. I mean, it takes you back to your days in the secondary school. Really, it's really shameful.
All right, additionally, I'll just kind of move forward and I'll come back to you later. But in the meantime, Hannibal, let me be coming to you now. Additional raised some issues, talking about he was pointing fingers at the president, saying that the president, but the House reconvened because of requests made by the president.
Yes, I beg to disagree 100% with this. These issues, people are always so quick to point fingers at the presidency. The president of the Federal Republic wrote a letter to the Speaker of the House of Representatives to reconvene the House, because of the extension of house, the emergency situation in the Northeast. Now, you see, according to what we know from the police spokesman, that they had this unity rally. APC had one unity rally, and in that rally they were talking about storming the National Assembly because they said that the speaker was going to be impeached in the sitting, and they made provisions, to invade the assembly. That was why the security agency were there to forestall law and order. Now, you are talking of lawmakers and the Speaker of the House of Representatives. We all know the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that if any member of the House defects from the political party that sponsors him to the House, he automatically loses his seat, which means that Mr. Tambuwa is no longer a member of House of Representatives. And by virtue of the provision of the Constitution, the security agencies are there. It is their duty to enforce the law. That's why we call them law enforcement agencies. You know? So now if those members are really honorable members, as they claim to be, when you see a security cordon, you have to obey that security cordon, the barricade. You know, these people, they scale defense. At the end of the day, they disobeyed constituted authorities, and they got into the chamber, start collecting signatures to impeach the president. That will tell you their mindset that this battle, for as far as they are concerned, is a battle against presidency, which even the president is not fighting. How can a man write a letter to people to come and reconvene for the process of approving the extension of emergency rule, and this same man will prevent you from reconvening? If the supporters of the speaker or whatever they claim to be are so democratic and they are law abiding, why don't they remind this man of the provisions of Section 65 of the Nigerian Constitution that he should resign? Why will a minority man be spearheading to become the leader to still remain the speaker? You can't eat your cake and have it now. That is the problem. We are not in support of whatever that is going on, whether they are breaking the laws or not breaking the law. But people should be honorable and always at all times strive to respect the law of the land. It's very clear. It's very clear. We all know that, this whole issue is, it's just like, people fighting all the time. They fighting the presidency, and the presidency is trying to have some kind of defense mechanism. But I don't believe, if you ask me, I don't believe that, the president sent the policemen to stop Tambuwa from getting to the premise of the National Assembly. If you listen to Ogo this morning in Sunrise, he himself, he clarified that he was trained as 5 minutes before he got into the premise of the house. Those men should have obeyed the police by allowing them to be screened and not scaling fences. That is my view. I disagree with anyone that is saying the president is trying to stop them from impeaching Tambuwa. Nobody is impeaching Tambuwa. As far as the law is concerned, he's no longer a member of the House of Representatives.
Oh, okay, Hannibal. You had your right to reply. I'll come back to you as well. And I would, of course, Precious is just joining us. So Precious, I'll be coming to you. But Additional is also indicating that he wants to reply to your comment. Additional, I'll come to you. But first, let's get what Precious is going to say pertaining to all the things. Hello, Precious.
Hello. Good afternoon. I heard my colleague speaking. I was so kind of carried away with his view. It was interesting to hear someone with some other view speak. Well, I've not really been on touch with this situation for the past days. I just read the papers yesterday online, and I saw some videos posted on Facebook and all sorts of social medias, and it was kind of embarrassing to see national lawmakers breaking the law, I would say. But not to jump into conclusions, I will also rather to say my view concerning that is that the Nigeria police force, has been very, very partisan in the last few months or I don't know. Let me say since the issue of decamping came into Nigeria politics as of latest, the Nigeria police force has rather be partisan within PDP, because when we look at issue concerning the decamping of Governor Mimiko from Labour Party into PDP, no IGP came out to say Mimiko decamped, so it's no longer the political leader. So the securities should be withdrawn. That was not the case. But when the speaker decamped, his aides were immediately withdrawn, and that is something very, very common with Nigerian politics. Immediately you are no longer at par with the presidency, or immediately you have another view, then you are becoming a target, and that is embarrassing when the police blocks the gate to prevent the speaker from entering. But on the other side, I would have preferred, if you are a civil person, the speaker wouldn't have gone to that length of scaling the fence or going to pick up thugs or whatsoever. You would have played according to the rule to show you're a gentle person, to prove you are not of such what should I say? Not to step so low. When a fool talks, the wise man listens and keeps quiet. Immediately you start using the words of a fool, you are also a fool. And that is exactly what is happening today. And that is the point in which I will try to withdraw my opinion to see what happens before I can take. I'm not a partisan person. I'm just a good governance. Every Nigerian wants good governance, and that is what I want. So if the PDP can give me what I want, I'm done with that. If the APC will do that, I prefer them. So for me, it's a game between the devil and the known angel and the devil or whatsoever. I said. So we have tested the PDP for the past years, and what they have offered is not that which we have expected. And the game is going to change in the coming election, and people are trying to say, since we've tested these people and they have not really played along the way we expected, so we are going to test from someone else. It's just like buying clothes or buying electronics from a consumer, and it's always giving you fault. And then the next thing you have to do is to check on someone else. That is why Nigerians are taking sides with the APC, not because they are better people, because there are people who also decamped from the PDP that are coming into APC. Tabuwa, yet, which people will say, many people are saying now, because you are APC, you are supporting Tabuwa. Tabuwa, for me, is not an APC man. He's just carrying the APC card for 2-3 weeks now. So actually, he's a PDP person. So it's a game between the devil and the known angel whatsoever. So they know what is right. But since they are trying to play politics, so we have nothing to say than to watch them. But our vote is alright, and I'll urge every Nigerian to think wisely and vote not on ethnic basis or not on political basis, but on issue base. Like the last election, the president failed to come out to talk about national issues. But this time, I will say anybody that is not ready to speak openly about the agenda, so such person should not be allowed by the electorate to be the leader. So that's all I have to say on this issue. Thank you very much.
All right, Precious. Nancy, but then we'll, just like you said, we'll keep watching and see how things play out. All right, additionally, I think I should be giving you your right to reply.
Okay.
Well, yeah. So he made some statements disagreeing with what you said earlier, and I think you want to say something about it, just like you indicated in the chat box. So go ahead. What is it you wanted to bring our attention to?
Like, I would disagree with some of the things he said. For example, I want us to understand that, yes, according to the law, it states that once a member of the National Assembly or a legislator cross carpets, he loses his seat. But that same law creates ground for defection, which is the fact that if there is any form of division, party in which he was elected, the speaker has provided court documents to show that there is actually division in his party in Sokoto State. That is one. Number two, now, if, assuming, as he said, the police has to enforce the law that he has defected. Now, if there is a court of law that has issued an order for a stay of execution, they should maintain the status quo. Why should the police in any way harass him? That is one. Number two, in Ekiti State, for example, 7 members of the House of Assembly, including 3 unknown people, just impeached the sitting speaker. Now, one of these people, one of the 7 lawmakers that are PDP members, one of them is actually an APC member who defected a few days ago. This person was not harassed by the police. This person was not forcefully ejected from the assembly by the police to say this person is wrong. He has defected, she has defected, therefore she loses her seat. No. Because she cross-carpeted to the ruling party, the police left her, guarded the assembly while 7 people impeached a speaker. They need 9 people to actually form a quorum in that assembly. But under the cover of the police force, of our so-called police force, they are able to impeach a sitting speaker, 7 members. Now tell me, how does that make sense? How is that fair? How is that equal? Fine, like I said earlier, what is happening in the National Assembly is a disgrace to all of us as a nation. But the fact is, on the side of the law, as far as the law is concerned, the police has erred in this aspect. Now, you made mention of the fact that the APC, during their rally the previous day, said they were going to bombard the National Assembly. Are you trying to tell me that our police force, with all the money, our police, SSS, the military, with all the money that we keep expending on our defense every year, cannot provide a cordon to the National Assembly in such a way that only members and workers of the National Assembly would have access to the assembly on that day? If they can't do that, then I'm sorry to say, I'm not even sorry to say it, our police IG, every head of the security force, they are incompetent. If you cannot provide cordon to the National Assembly in such a way that it allows the members of the National Assembly to do their job without people who do not necessarily have to be there getting even a kilometer close to that place, then they are not competent enough to do their job. That is the fact. Now, you made mention of the fact that the president is not at fault. In fact, you contradicted yourself in the sense that you said the president wrote a letter to the speaker. That means the president still recognized the speaker as the speaker of the National Assembly. Why then should the Inspector General of Police, who is appointed by the president, paid by taxpayers' money, now be saying no, the president is wrong and the speaker is no longer the speaker? It makes no sense in any way whatsoever. This is simply a form of witch hunting of the speaker simply because he defected. Now there are several members of the National Assembly who have defected. This case is still in court. One will expect, under normal circumstances, for the police to wait until these cases are decided in the court of law. That is the reason why we have courts, so that people don't take laws into their own hands. What the IG is doing today is taking laws into his own hands. There is a court order restraining them from harassing the man in any way. Why should they be stopped from fulfilling his duty as a member of the National Assembly?
Wow, questions and so many questions to be answered. But then let me just go to the chat box first before I come back to you, Hannibal. Of course, all those questions were for you to answer because it was replying to comments you made earlier while you were making your comments on this issue. But then you say in the chat box that it should be noted that Mimiko is an executive governor and the law of defection is not applicable to executives. Instead, talking about division, the federal high courts have ruled that there is no division in the PDP. And you say in the case of the 37 defected House members, and the court has ruled that they have no business in the House. Well, Precious is thanking you for your enlightenment, and he also agrees with Additional on what Additional just said. But let me come to you. I mean, you heard him quite frankly. He's replied to all of your comments and your statements. So what do you have to say about that?
You know, first of all, it is important to understand that these things is not, kind of just saying things from the angle of sentiment. It is. I believe that additional. I don't really think you follow these things from the beginning. I don't really think you follow the grassroots of this issue. It's not like you can't say that there is a federal high court restraining people from harassing that number. That is not true. You see, Tamboa has gone to court to challenge the withdrawal of his security agent, aides. And a few days ago, he withdrew that case. You understand? What we are looking at, we have to look at this issue from the angle of the law. I am not in support of PDP or APC. But if you before you go to work every morning or whatever you do, I think it is right for you to check Nigerian newspapers, from Vanguard to Tribune to everywhere. Journalists, you have to understand what is going on, how the polity of Nigerian politics is being heated up. So when we make comments, we don't make comments because we are supporting Jonathan or because we are supporting Buhari. No, we make comments because from the angle of the law. Now, you said something about the witch hunting. If the security agency gets an intel that there's going to be a breakdown of law and order, it is their sole responsibility to checkmate this breakdown of law and order. And if a House member refuses to obey the cordon of the security agency, now who do you blame? You begin to blame the presidency. That is very wrong. The president is not even in the country when this whole thing was going on. Now, if you imagine another crime, take for example in the United States of America, and a House member defects, and people are trying to enforce the law. Will you see anyone collecting signature to impeach Obama? That will tell you how the mindset of our lawmakers is. So if you go to the law of the land, you will see that these people is burdened on impunity. The level of impunity is so high that people don't want to respect the law. I respect Tambuwa as an individual, just like every other person. But the fact remains that these people, they don't just care about the law when it's not into their favor. Anything they run to court, and if the court rule against them, they will tell you that they would not want to bend it. Okay, you're talking about the case of the 37 lawmakers. That case has been decided a long time ago when the court ruled that there is no division in the PDP. Tambuwa never mentioned any division in Sokoto State. He said due to the happenings in the state, there is no division anywhere in the PDP because that case has been finalized long time ago by the court of law, and the court ruled that those 37 lawmakers have no business whatsoever to remain in the House of Reps. So if the police now is trying to enforce the law of the land, then we'll have to shift our blame to the police for enforcing the law of the land. If we continue to allow this to happen, take for instance, Tambuwa has defected from PDP to the APC, and he remained the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Which kind of democracy are we practicing? So when now the minority will begin to rule over the majority, there is nowhere in the world where in the House of Reps the minority rule over the majority. A few months ago, when the APC perceived that they are now in the majority, they were trying to change the leadership of the House. Didn't they do that? They attempted changing the leadership of the House when they perceived that now we are in the majority. So how can Tambuwa eat his cake and have it? The law of the land must be obeyed, no matter whose ass is God. Even if President of the Federal Republic commits gross misconduct today, he should be impeached. It doesn't matter where he comes from. So like I was trying to clarify it for my brother there, the law of defection apply only to the legislators because the framers of the law, they were trying to maintain checks and balances, And going to your point of 7 lawmakers trying to impeach the Speaker of House of Assembly in Ekiti State, you see, what I perceive from that issue, first of all, they don't have the number to impeach the man. Secondly, they did that impeachment because the man is being partisan. He has come from his duty post. You see, they are joined. Let me tell you the history of that program. These people, the governor forwarded some names of commissioners for him to clear. First of all, they don't want to cooperate with the governor because he's in opposition right now. And they're asking for 137 million naira from the 50 billion, from 2 billion loans that the man is going to collect. Are you aware of that? No. Now, these people went to Lagos. Instead of sitting, he adjourned sitting, they sat on 11th of November. He adjourned the sitting on the 12th of November to clear those people. They went to Lagos. They didn't sit on 12, they didn't sit on 13, they didn't sit on 14, they didn't sit on 15. They never sat again. Without no cogent reason to back up the reason why they are not sitting. And what do you expect people that have the interest of the state at heart to do? Just like Tambuwa adjoined the House of Reps ad infinitum, just because he's Speaker, they think they can do whatever they like. He after defecting, he adjoined the House of Reps to December 3rd without no reason. This will tell you that these people don't have the interest of the masses at heart. So people like us, when we read these things, when we see these things in the news, it pisses us off. Are you trying to tell me that the House of Reps don't have any business to do in making good laws for the country? Why will House just adjourn without no reason? So,
all right, I'm not about that. Okay.
So those 7 lawmakers have to sit because the business of the state must continue. Not only they have to impeach the man because he's not doing his duty, he's not serious, he's not serious. They need somebody serious and competent to do the job. That's my take on this whole thing.
All right, Hannibal, that was quite long and lengthy, but again, I'll go back to the chat box. It's been banging. Finally, Olu Jacob has broken the silence. I think he dropped a comment somewhere. But I'll just start from where Precious, or from where Olu Jacob started. He said it will be recalled via available video that Tomball took a second gate into the Green Chamber, and he never climbed a gate as voiced by Precious. Precious now says if Tomball didn't, why didn't he calm his men down to avoid the law breaking, and the commotion that was caused? Additional says, does it mean they can't observe this recording without shutting the assembly down? There is no law that states that the speaker must come from the party in the majority. The law states that the speaker is to be elected by the members, and it's only global practice that someone from majority gets elected. Well, we see you. For those of you watching on YouTube, we see you. You can also add your voice to this conversation. Just tweet at us using the hashtag NASChaos. But then, Precious, you've been quiet for a while now, and I know I saw you, from your comments, I know you have a thing or two to say from the drawing from the banters that have been exchanged by Precious and Hannibal. Where exactly do you stand?
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to say thank you to Hannibal because actually I've been away from country for some years now. I'm not really conversant with Nigeria politics or the law of the land or the constitution or whatsoever. But if you have to compare what you see over here or what you see in Europe or any other place in the world, the case of Nigeria is always a very different one. And it's not different in the way that is a positive difference, but it's always on the negative side. But when you come here, for example, talking about forming condoms or whatsoever from preventing people from getting access into the House of Assembly, then I would like to pose this question. Is the House of Assembly for the lawmakers alone, or is the House of Assembly for Nigerians? If I can't gain access into the House of Assembly, where the laws of the land are made, then what makes me actually in Nigeria? Good, there are security threats that makes everybody should be screened before getting access. But I don't even think I can. Even when screened, I can get access into the National Assembly of Nigeria. And that is something when you compare, I work freely even as a foreigner. I can gain access into the Buden's house, as we say here. I just have to go through the security details or whatsoever. If I'm found not carry any weapon like every normal person, then I gain access. But in Nigeria, it's a very different ball game. But let's leave that. That is something different. But what I'm saying he was talking about the Ekiti people, the way 7 people. But it's also a very strange thing to say that 7 people out of 28, I think, I don't know, are trying to. It's just like I recollect there was an issue, almost the same thing that happened some months. I think at the beginning of the year regarding the Nigeria government governors forum or whatsoever. It was the same thing when 9 people were trying to turn the result of an election into. So it's something very conversant with the Nigeria politics, where the minorities, because of the affiliation or because of the what do I say? Because of the bond they have with the federal government, try to upset or turn things around to favor the federal government. I'm from the south of Nigeria. President Goodluck is a southerner or whatsoever. But that does not really mean we should not see something objectively. We should actually look at these things the way they should be, and not because of sentiment trying to twist everything around. Things that are happening right now in the politics is heating up the politics, and I'm really afraid if 2015 wouldn't have a very bad omen on the history of Nigeria. That's what I can say now.
All right. So while we were to talk, he has a comment to make. But additional, I'll also come to you. We have a new caller. Let's just acknowledge his presence. Gilbert Aliu, good afternoon. Hello, Gilbert. All right, Gilbert. Hello, Gilbert. Good afternoon. All right, Gilbert, we'll come to you. If you can try and just rectify the fault with your sound, please do that, and we'll come back to you in a minute or two, and then we can hear from you, know where you're calling from, and have a listen at what you would have to say. All right, then let me come back to you, additional. You made a signal that you wanted to make some comments, so let me just get that comments before we move forward.
All right, thank you. Like I would like to comment on what Annabelle said earlier. For example, you talked about impunity in the system. Now, it is this same impunity that you are trying to encourage by saying because APC members in Ekiti State refused to work and therefore the 7 members had to move. Is this the same impunity that you are supporting? The law states that there has to be a quorum before the House can sit, and the quorum for the House is 9 members. So tell me, how can you justify you saying we should read the system of impunity, and yet you are trying to justify 7 members sitting without the law states that at least the speaker or the deputy must even be available. None of them were available. So the basis for which they even impeached the speaker and every other thing is lawless. And yet immediately this happened, our so-called law enforcement agency, they moved into action, effected this same law. We had the speaker, being a new speaker elected by 7 people, being sworn in, the security details of the sitting speaker being, I mean, it doesn't make sense in any way. Like you said, we are not trying to be political or anything. I'm not in support of any party. I'm in support of good governance for Nigeria. But when we are supporting good governance, we have to do it to the fullest. What is happening now in the polity? What is happening with the police, our security agencies being used to hand down perceived opposition? It doesn't make sense. Look at the former governor of Borno State, for example, Alimodu Sheriff. This man has very big accusations hanging over his head of being actually the main founder and supporter of Boko Haram. Immediately he saw that things were going to turn against him. The man decamped back to the PDP, and today this man goes to Borno with hundreds of soldiers protecting him. How does this make sense? Why should hundreds of soldiers be protecting a senator? Please tell me, what is the security detail? What is the security detail that under normal circumstance protocol grants to a senator? Why should he be in Borno with hundreds of security? If not that, it's because he's a part of the president's inner circle now. Therefore, he has all this. I think it doesn't make sense. If we are going to cleanse the system, if we want to put an end to this impunity, it has to start with everybody, irrespective of your political leaning. This is wrong. Whatever is wrong is wrong. What happened in the National Assembly on that day makes no sense. Like you said, like Precious said, if an average citizen can't gain entrance into the National Assembly, firstly, it makes no sense. Now, even if you are going to have a cordon, they could have this cordon in such a way that only people who have businesses in the National Assembly gain entrance without necessarily shutting down the assembly. On this day when they were preventing the speaker from gaining entrance, the deputy speaker was ushered in through the presidential entrance. So tell me, where is the equity and justice in that? It doesn't make sense in any way. If we are going to support good governance and fairness in Nigeria, we should do it across board, not selectively, not in a way that seems like we are for one party and we are against the other. I'm not a politician. I'm not into politics. No member of my family is into politics. But when something is wrong, let us as a people be able to say this is wrong. What the police force did on that day is wrong. It is out of their powers to do that. If they want to provide security, they can provide it in such a way that does not stop the National Assembly from working. The National Assembly is an arm of government. This is like another arm of government stopping another arm of government from working. It is not done anywhere in that way. If, for example, we have it in the US, the opposition can filibuster bills or whatever. It happens everywhere. You cannot say President Obama, while he had issues with the Congress, why didn't he say, okay, because the Republicans were blocking his moves, why didn't he say, okay, I'm going to use the minority to impeach the speaker or whatever? It doesn't happen. This doesn't happen. When if once you are not in the majority, like you said, fine. But now the PDP knows they cannot get the majority to impeach the speaker. That is why they are using every ulterior move, every military agency we have, every security detail we have to actually fight against this man. It makes no sense. If they want to impeach him, move a motion for impeachment
All right.
Unless when the case is decided in the court, they have no right to remove him through force.
All right. Again, the chat box is just booming, and Hannibal says the level of impunity. You know, you talked about impunity, so you're saying the level of impunity is so high on part of our political office holders. They act as if they are they are the law when it's not. They act as if they obey the law when it's not to their own favor, and they act as if they are above the law when it's not in their favor. And Olu Jacob says again that the police have no right, for whatever reasons, to debar the lawmakers from going into the chamber. Hannibal adds that impunity means leaving your duty post for no reasonable reason, and Precious brings us a definition of impunity from the dictionary. Well, like our viewers, again, once again, I would like to encourage you to tweet at us, adding your comments using the hashtag NASChaos, and we'll read all those comments here as well, and we'll look at other things as well. But let me come back to you, Hannibal. You just heard him, but let's just put the issue of witch hunt and all that on the side. Yes, we know, but what does this portend for 2015? And because 2015 is just around the corner, and it's heating up already. What do you think?
Yeah. For 2015, what I can see is that the political office holders, they must behave mature. They have to. You see, if you watch these men, their utterances, it's not encouraging at all. Their utterances, their behavior, they are trying to take us back to this old century kind of politics. You understand? When they still believe in the do or die kind of political games. That is why I am disagreeing with Adesina, in the way he's viewing this thing. You see, all we want a level playing field, a mature kind of political game, like what is obtained in the clan that we are. You see, we can speak the way we speak because we are exposed. You understand? We tend to know how it's going on because we see how politicians run their show in the Europeans and the Americans. You understand? Nobody will begin to preach polity of anarchy in the advanced world. Well, by the time you see lawmakers scaling the fence and not obeying constitutional authorities, not wanting to ask why is this happening, not taking it easy, then you can see clearly that 2015 is going to be, a kind of very dangerous game if care is not taken. So my take in this is that if there are issues, especially from the opposition party, they should, take it easy. If you are campaigning, give us issue-based campaign. Don't attack personality. Tell us what you're gonna do for the betterment of our country. Tell us how you're gonna do it differently. Don't tell us PDP has, is corrupt. No. Tell if PDP has failed for 16 years. Tell us. We want to know what are you gonna do from henceforth. That's what we want to hear. We want to know how you are going to fix the economy. We want to know how you are going to create jobs and give us more human resource, attract more investment. That's what we want to hear. We don't want to hear that we are going to march against the presidency or to some kind of funny rallies, and somebody keep telling us the same thing over and over again. For 2015, Nigerians should, because we are not going to vote, we are not there to vote, But my advice is that they should look for issue-based politicians, not these ones that we have now that preach violence all the time. That is my advice to them for 2015.
All right, great. Precious, let me come to you. I mean, because we're about wrapping up this conversation, but then 2015 is coming up. What do you think this whole issue? How do you think it's going to affect our politics come 2015?
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity once more. And Hannibal, this time around, I will say I agree with you to some certain extent that we, the populace, we have a very important role to play. We have seen in the past years the INEC is living up to expectation in some certain areas, even though we have a lot of challenges that the INEC are not kind of mastering to the taste of exposed people or to the taste of developed nations. But compared to the past elections we've had, then we could say we have some iota of hope that INEC could live to expectation come 2015. And I think this is an opportunity to enlighten the populace to vote wisely, because Nigerians do lay emphasis on executive arm of government, and this is actually just a part of government. And if you want change, we have the judiciary, we have the legislative. And if you really want a change that is going to be permanent, you have to focus on the legislative part of government, because that's where the power lies. The laws of the land must be obeyed. And when the laws are good, the policies will be good, because the executive have no option that rather than to follow the laws. And when we have miscreants and never do wells legislating over us and promulgating laws that they could bend and subside, because they were the one who promulgated these laws and they know where the problem lies. They could most senators and legislators want to come back to their state to be governors, to loot the treasury, never mind promulgating laws, because they know where the loopholes lies, and they can subside these when they get to the treasury, and they can loot it as it ends. So my advice to the populace is that rather than focusing on the executive, we have to focus more on the legislative arm of government. We have to elect reasonable senators, reasonable legislators, that other than saying a governor. A governor is just a person. But when you have 28 members of the House of Assembly that think well in a progressive manner, I think the governor have no option than to comply, because they have the power to impeach the governor and they have the power to impeach the president. When we have good, well-thinking, well-educated people in our House of Assemblies, then Nigeria will be a greater nation. Thank you. That's what I have to say.
All right. Thank you, Precious. I can see finally Hannibal and Additional are kind of coming to have a common ground, but Olu, will be expecting your wrap on this comments on the 2015, what this portends for 2015 politics. I will be expecting to see that in the chat box. Before I come to your additional for your own comments, let me also go to the chat box and read some of your comments. You said our task is to speak. That's Hannibal now saying that our task is to speak against anything that will work against our hard-earned democracy. And you say that all our politicians are guilty of heating up the polity. And you say the governor who is calling for the killing of cockroaches with inverted commas has not been invited by the police or SSS for questioning. And Hannibal answered that that's exactly what I'm talking about. This kind of words coming from the mouth of an executive governor is not good for our polity. Well, I'll come back to you now, Additional, to hear your wrapping comments on the 2015 issue and the road to 2015 as this affects us. What's your take on that?
All right, thank you, Leslie. I think for me, 2015 is a very important year for Nigeria, and I think it's left for us as the electorate, especially those of us who are in Nigeria, who are educated at home expecting for change to come to our laps. But the fact is, if you don't go out there to participate in the electoral process, we would have the same set of people buying their votes, buying votes from people who know very little about what this means for us. I mean, the dollar to the naira today is alarming, very alarming, almost 180, 183 driven naira on the black market. It is really, really crazy. We need change in this country, and change can only come when we begin to see beyond ethnic and religious colorations. I personally, I don't care if an Hausa man, I'm Yoruba, I don't care if an Hausa man rules Nigeria for the next 50 years. What I'm concerned about is for me to be able to come to my country and have the peace of mind that I have security, I have job security, there is provision of electricity. I mean, we are talking about a country where we are still struggling with 2,500 megawatts of electricity. I did a project on UAE a few days ago, and these people are already generating in terabytes, 98 terabytes of electricity. 1 terabyte is 1 million megawatts. You can imagine. and our country, and this is a country with 9 million people, and Nigeria with almost 170 million, we are struggling with 2,500. It is really, really crazy. We need change in this country, and the only way change can come is with the electorate, seeing beyond ethnic and religious colorations. I don't care if the man is from the south or from the northeast or from the southwest or from the southeast. So far he or she is able to effect change in this country, stop corruption, fix our broken legal system, fix electricity, encourage businesses to grow. This is what we need in Nigeria. That is how we will create jobs in Nigeria, not the same cycle, recycling the old process. We don't need this any longer. We need change. And 2015 gives us an opportunity.
Are you there? I think his internet has cut his speech short. But then, thank you everyone for coming. Precious, Amori, you are in Zurich, in Switzerland. Olu Jacob, we didn't get where you are from, and we don't know where you are. We don't really even see your face. But however, thanks for your comments.
Sorry.
You still kept us. You kept us. You also added your comments to the whole conversation. Hannibal, thank you, of course, for joining as well. You are in Cyprus, Nicosia, the capital, precisely. And also, additional Daodu, we thank you as well. You are in Ukraine. You're in Kiev at the moment. Thankfully, that's a very safe zone. Well, thanks to all of you. Once again, it's the channel's Beam Google Plus Hangout. My name is Victor Matthias. Until I see you again next week, thank you for coming.